Hello everyone, happy Saturday. I'm Steve, Mark's at work, and this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back. It is the weekend, so you know what that means. If you don't know what that means, I put stuff in my coffee, because I drink black coffee all week, and I'm rocking an unfinished basement. I don't wear underwear on the weekends. Today's coffee selection is something different I'm trying. It's regular old coffee, good earth sweetener, which is like stevia and monk fruit, and we had a free sample we got of muscle milk. It was the only creamer-esque thing we had in the house. So it smelled like Ensure. We'll see. It's not bad. It's kind of the memory of Coffee Mate vanilla creamer. It's got an aftertaste. So today we're going to catch up with our dear lady, our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, who is now back to Foodie Beauty, though we'll get to that in a minute. She's had a very active week on, she was on YouTube. She was on a couple other social media, drawing attention to herself, bringing some other people in, or trying to rope some other people into some drama. There's really not much else to call it other than drama. And the premise of her channel has changed at least once, if not twice, during the course of the week. So let's just dive right back in, shall we? So where we left her, she was doing a, she had laid out, of course, a plan for some things she was going to do with her channel. Things that I liked, actually. She was going to do a couple healthy mukbangs a week, more stuff about makeup, and more adventures with Pete's. I'm mad that Pete's has been, if you'll see this week, he's not even in the videos. I don't even know why I watched. Last week we were dealing with her, burying her being allegedly a racist. Discriminating against folks with serious mental health concerns and all that stuff. And she was trying to put all that to rest. And then she wrapped up where we left off, having a salad and telling a TMI story about a guy who wiped himself with a shower curtain. So we leave that off there, and the next video that comes up is hysterectomy journey, pre-op appointment, internal medicine. So anyone who doesn't know, Chantal has an ongoing, a very long ongoing health concern, where the final step is going to be that she's scheduled to have a hysterectomy. And it's supposed to be going on early October, I want to say the 3rd or so. So this is on her mind. She said that she's looked around and not found a lot of other people, at least people of size, who have had hysterectomy journeys documented. And so she thought it could be helpful to other people and maybe helpful to herself, so she was going to document it. So, saw an internist, had some work done. They took her blood pressure a few times. It's a little bit elevated. She met with an intern who basically said that any good health that she has, I'm paraphrasing, she is young-ish. She's in her 30s, so her body is not necessarily crumbling under the weight of it as much as maybe it could, because youth is on her side. I've heard Dr. Nowzaradan say that about some of his patients on the show 600 Pound Life. So, I mean, he's a TV doctor, though he's a doctor in real life. So glean from that what you may. But it's not the first time I've heard vis-a-vis, third person, that a doctor has said, you're overweight, but you're not dying exactly tomorrow because you have youth on your side. So she's actually got the green light for the surgery, but doctor wants her to do 15 minutes of walking a day. And the doctor said, well, how many blocks can you walk, or how far can you walk before you get winded? And she said pretty much to her car. And the cause of that could be her weight. I think it's her weight. She's carrying a lot of extra weight. Chantal, I believe, is about 5'2", and she's approaching 400 pounds, 380 to 400 pounds. My high weight was about 290, almost 300. So my high weight, I was 100 pounds less than she is now, and I'm 10 inches taller than her. So her body's under a lot of strain. She was prescribed exercise to do, and she said on day one she had already had some excuses not to, like she was tired and then she was going to go see it. She cut a quick clip in, a quick cut saying she was going to do it, but she didn't kind of recap her day and say that she did. So I'm hoping she didn't pull a Chantal and just not do it and then not bring it up again. But would I be surprised? I don't know. So she's officially cracking down, as of this video, on junk food. They told her the risk of infection is high because of the way they have to do the procedure. it's going to be, I guess, a long incision, and because she's obese, that means the big incision, so it's going to take longer for her to heal. And she has a history of blood clots, so that's another complication. Again, she said there's not a lot of videos that she saw on YouTube of people going through her experience, at least not that she found, so she thought it could be helpful. And she said when she did find people, it was a lot of women who were going through it alone. So she's very happy that BB took a couple weeks off of work and that her family's going to be there. I believe her mother, maybe her grandmother, and some other folks. So they're going to be involved in this with her, which I think is good. You know, like I said, I'm not a woman. I'm not going to try to really pretend to understand what that would do to my mind if these were my choices and this is what was going on. But in any scary situation, if she's close with her family and they want to be there and she wants them there, I mean, that's a good thing. I'm not going to take away from her opinions aside that she's probably coming up on something kind of frightening. So she went to the movies. Again, I hope she went walking first. She talked about it, without spoiling it, but talked about how each of the characters towards the end of the movie, you know, they're like battling their own demons. And she talks about how she's battling her own demons. She hopes that she has a happy ending, just like some of the individuals in the movie did. It begs the question what she's doing for herself to reach this happy ending that she seems to want. What kind of an effort is she putting towards it? Is it a sincere effort? Is it a quick fix effort? Is it I'll try for 3 days and then stop effort? You know, maybe that's not for me to say, but she has documented all of this for us to view and to, you know, assess, comment. I mean, there's a comments section, so people are meant to comment on it. So she's put it all out there to kind of see, you know, is she going to have her happy ending? What is she doing to bring that to fruition? Look at her channel, you know. She then went into a Pier 1 Imports clearance haul. It wasn't a huge haul. I like Pier 1 enough. It's a little snobby for me, but I have lowbrow taste, so I'm not a good measuring stick. Basically, I just made a list of the stuff she bought because how interesting is it to... I like hauls. We do hauls. We do grocery hauls and stuff like that. I'm not knocking hauls at all. I like them. I do watch them. But I like food hauls because, like, I'm kind of food obsessed. I had an eating disorder, and then I was obese, so, like, I think about food a lot. So food hauls are kind of my thing. Interestingly, mukbangs are not, but... So she bought a placemat for, like, $10, candles, another notebook. I thought she had a lot of journals, but she did explain that some of them were running dry. These were to decorate the table area, because she kind of has a new backdrop and a new semi-private place where she can... you know, do some of her filming and stuff like that. So she got some stuff to decorate. I like the kind of backdrop that she has going there. So then there was some activity in the comments section. Now this is where I'm trying to follow the timeline of things, because per Chantal, and she's not unique to this. Chantal's not a unicorn. She's not the only person who stirs drama, posts comments and videos and then deletes them and stuff like that. So I don't want to point the finger at her and say she's singularly the only person on YouTube that does this. But she is doing it, or I believe was doing it this week. So let me try to keep up with this because there's a bunch of people involved that I didn't know who they were and I had to do some research. Okay? So apparently there was some drama with a woman named Charlie Gould, who also has a channel. And she, from what I can gather, I think I mentioned her during the live the other day. From what I could gather, she's another woman, plus size, obese, overweight. I'm not sure how she would describe herself, who is doing the deal and is losing some weight. It sounds like she's doing some personal growth stuff, but she's also kind of just handling herself. She's doing what I think a lot of people who are on weight loss journey channels want to do and maybe don't, is that she's following through. So she also does reactions to Amber Lynn Reid. And I'll touch on later. I find some common ground actually with Charlie in the way she describes reacting to Amber Lynn and the way that I review Chantal. But I'll get to that in a second. So Chantal came hard at Charlie in a comment saying that Charlie Gould has no room to comment on Amber Lynn Reid's obesity, her life, anything like that at all. Chantal comes to Amberlynn's defense, which is interesting because I don't hear Amberlynn mention Chantal very much, but I hear Chantal bring up Amberlynn pretty often, as you know, like they're peas in a pod or something, and their names get grouped together a lot. So I mean, I suppose that's fair. Chantal maintained that Charlie, as an obese woman, is, you know, really has no right to be so highly opinionated of another obese woman's struggles. Now, that could go a couple ways. I think Chantal is considering her to be a hypocrite. Another way of looking at it could be that because she is another obese woman, she is uniquely qualified to understand those struggles, that she has lived firsthand experience of those struggles, of some of the potholes that you step in, of some of the challenges that are unique to it. And it kind of blows a hole in the, you don't get my life, you haven't walked in my shoes, you don't understand. And it puts Charlie in a place to be able to say, oh, but honey, I do. I do understand. I get, you know, no two people's experiences are identical. And I wouldn't say as much, and I don't think she would either. I gotta say, this Charlie woman who I'm following, a lot of dignity. She reeks of dignity. You know, I'm new to her channel, so if I get a lot of backlash for saying nice things about her, that's fine, because I have to dig a little further. But my initial take of her was like, wow, how regal. But at any rate, Chantal, I think maybe, first of all, a touch bitter, because apparently the woman that she was coming after, her channel has blown up a little bit bigger than Chantal's in a very short period of time. I think perhaps because this Charlie Gould is doing exactly what a lot of other weight loss channels allege to do, which is that she's putting in work and getting results, and she's kind to people, and she responds, and stuff like that. And I don't know that Chantal was coming for that as much as she was critical of her talking about Amberlynn Reid. So this is where I've kind of read a little similarity, because I had to then go watch Charlie Gould's video in response to what she titled Big Bitter Me, which I thought, I thought it was kind of cute. Maybe not the nicest, but it was cute. And if somebody came for me that hard, I don't know how I would title the video in response to them, or if I would. When Charlie Gould talks about reacting to Amberlynn Reid, she kind of points to her, saying she relates to her. She identifies with some of it, to a degree, that she sees the things she's doing and she sees bits of herself in it. And I've said as much about Chantal before. When I see Chantal, I see me. I see mistakes she's making. I see things she's struggling with, and I think, I've struggled with that, but I came through it. I see her having some mental, quirks, things that she's still grappling with, and I think I still grapple with that sometimes. How did I get out of it? What is she trying to do to get out of it? Is she helping herself? Was I helping myself? And I try more than to drag her or tear her to shreds, to think more like, what's the lesson here? What's the lesson for me? Is there a lesson for her? It's more or less, she's like a jumping off, her decisions are a jumping off point to have a discussion, than it is, look at her, look at how terrible her life is, look what she's doing to herself, let's all point and laugh. Like, it's not the same reason that I'm like kind of looking and reacting to her. So that kind of resonated with me with that. And basically Charlie Gould said, I'm not playing with Chantal, I'm not doing it. There's other better uses of my time. Charlie said, I think there's a lot going on in her life. She's looking for love and acceptance in the wrong places. And I can appreciate that, because on a bad day, the attention from comments and views and stuff, I'll hit the refresh button to see how many views I'm getting, and then my self-esteem climbs based on how high it goes. So I can appreciate that observation, because it applies to me sometimes. I think she just believes, focus on yourself. Focus on what you're doing and what you need to be doing to take care of yourself. And I thought that was a solid response by her. Special thanks, by the way, to someone else who doesn't know who the hell I am, Michael B. Petty, because to get the original screenshot of Chantal's tirade, I had to go to his channel, because I had lost a piece of it. I lost that shot because I was screenshotting everything as it was coming along, because to keep up with Chantal, you really have to. and I had misplaced it. I couldn't find it. I think I deleted it by accident. So he doesn't know I exist, but I am grateful to him because he had it. So all of a sudden, oh, by the way, Foodie Beauty is back. Something came up about that. By the way, Chantal was going to leave for an extended period of time, I believe, again, and then came back again. So, you know, it's barely worth mentioning anymore. But, you know, she's back as Foodie Beauty. So the first thing that I found that she did as Foodie Beauty was a Boston pizza pepperoni pizza poutine fries. How did she put it? It was like a food taste test. Like it's some big experiment. She loved the old theme song, so she brought it back. Now, this kind of stuff, I don't care what she does with her channel. Change the theme song, call yourself whatever you want. I mean, that kind of flip-flopping, I don't really care about for whatever reason. I mean, does it hurt anyone for her to change the name of her channel or the intro music? No. Is that send a bad message to anyone? Is that destroying her life? It's indecisive. Sure. Does it betray some larger indecisiveness in her life? Maybe, but I don't want to go that deep with her. I'm just reviewing their videos. But perhaps, but of all the decisions she makes, the decision to change the name of her channel back to Foodie Beauty isn't one that I would really, like, you know, dig in on. So she lets people know who might be new to her channel that she was built on mukbangs and story times, pretty much. And kind of tries, probably anyone who like joined for the hysterectomy journey or joined for the keto journey, she's trying to like catch all these people up that like, well, this is what the channel used to be about, so here's what you can expect going forward that it's going to be about. I think this is why she has like these big fluctuations in viewers, because every time she changes the theme of the channel, it pulls some new people in, but then when it changes again, those people leave and go find somebody else who has that interest. And then it brings in new people and leave. The only consistent folks, I think, are her diehards and, like, feeders, maybe. The feeders have to be a stronghold because at every turn there's another excuse to eat on camera. So, while she's in the car, she explains briefly that she apologizes for absolutely nothing in the exchange with Charlie Gould, save for the fact, maybe her tone of voice and how angry she came off. But, you know, she said she has the right to be angry and she has the right to her opinions, and she certainly does. She also, other folks have the right to theirs and will probably vent their feedback going forward. So I don't think that exchange is going to blow over as easy, and I don't think it was favorable to Chantal to reach out in that way. One could speculate, it was speculated from what I had read that Chantal was trying to use her name for views, to attach her name to Charlie Gould because Charlie Gould has suddenly become much more of a name. That's an observation. Possible. I'm not saying yes or no. I suspect that could have been a side effect of it, but I don't think it worked that well. So anyway, as she's eating these pizza fries in the car, the food tray is back, and the food tray mounts up here. It's like up here, like this. So, it won't fit on the bottom. I mean, I guess it wouldn't make sense even if it did, but it's not gonna. It's got to be pretty uncomfortable. I've hung out with some big folks, good friends, and that steering wheel cuts right into the stomach. I mean, there's no room to put it lower. So the fries, feeders are happy, I'm sure. She says she's not going to eat the whole thing. And she said, yes, this is part of her new diet. Okay. So she does reassure everyone she's seeing the weight loss doctor, she's in good hands, and she's down 7 pounds from her last weigh-in, which should undo the 8 she gained on keto. The doctor says, depriving myself isn't realistic. Now, this is true, because it was the same thing he said 2 freaking months ago, which is what was prescribed, is the balanced diet across food groups and macros and everything, and portioned. So, yes, depriving yourself, probably. I mean, that I would agree with that entirely. Depriving myself isn't realistic either. That doesn't mean that the moment I make that decision, I bolt for pizza fries. Because, well, I can't deprive myself forever. I need to go eat them now. No, they're not going to stop making, you know, poutine. You can get it like in a month. Can you not eat it till October 4th? Like, can you just wait a little? I don't know. So, she says the doctor said, you know, don't eat in the car. And he's like, he asked her, are you eating in the car? She's like, well, yeah. And she said he laughed. And she's like, well, I'm not supposed to eat alone, but I'm not because I'm filming. You guys are watching. I'm here talking. But let's not kid ourselves here. My phone, it's not even a proper camera, my phone is mounted on a tripod. My computer's here, and there's no one in the house but the cat. So I'm technically alone. I can spin it however I want, but I'm here alone. I'm having coffee for one. If you're having coffee, that's cool too, and we're interacting. But truth be told, I mean, if I was sitting here eating, I'm eating by myself. So, I mean, if it was alive, it might be different, but I don't know. So, I'm probably thinking too hard into this. So, they decided they were going to keep it simple with her diet, you know. And she did say a couple things that resonated with me when she talked about her diet, especially with restricting. You know, the minute someone says, restrict your carbs, all she wants is carbs. The minute someone says, restrict no meat, all you want is meat. I get that, but that's the whole point of not restricting whole groups out. That's why, for someone like her, keto might be a not advisable way to go about it. And that's not knocking keto. Being vegan might not be good for her either. Actually, she's tried both, and neither has worked. You know, the handwriting's on the walls with some of this stuff. How about something sensible? How about breakfast, lunch, and dinner? How about something the doctor prescribed 2 months ago without trying to get cute and change it? I mean, why not? You know, why not give it a try? So they're going to do something simple like the one serving diet. So just eat one serving of chips, one serving of that, one serving of this. That's practical. That's reasonable. That's portion control. That's something I think almost any diet would recommend. The only things you can usually eat unlimited amounts of on any diet is like leafy green vegetables. Usually that's it. On Weight Watchers, I know they have free foods and stuff like that. But on other, you know, leafy green stuff and maybe egg whites and white meat chicken. Otherwise, you gotta count it, usually. Let's see. She did say something else I agree with, too, when she's talking about medications that she's taking to help manage her health. She said YouTube doesn't like it when she talks about meds. I found that, too, a little bit. I did some videos on meds, and I went to hit monetize. They're older videos, and I went to hit monetize, and limited or no ads is what comes up next to it, and it was confirmed by a manual review. So I'm not gonna, she's not blowing smoke with that. And the doctor talked with her about, or she made up, I'm not sure, about having an 80-20 or 90-10 diet, where 80 to 90% of the food is high quality, whole food, real food, and 10% is crap. I will tell her, I'll tell you guys too, my weight loss journey, and I've lost about 90 pounds. I was doing a restricted calorie diet, so I was portion controlled, about 1,500. I was intermittent fasting, and I would say 1,000 calories was high quality food, and 500 calories was probably absolute junk. That kept me from wanting to binge. But I was able to maintain that over a long period of time. It was something that was able to work for me with a cheat day a week, you know, pretty much. And the cheat day didn't undo all the work of the previous 6. I wasn't eating like 6,000 calories on a cheat day. So I can appreciate that recommendation isn't too bad. It was something I had kind of stumbled on that worked for me. But she doesn't seem to, she wants like quick results and extreme behaviors to get to those quick results. And it doesn't, you know, weight loss doesn't work that way. It really, sustained weight loss doesn't seem to work that way. It hasn't for, I can't talk for you, I'll talk for me. It hasn't worked that way for me, I'll say that much. So allegedly when she finished these fries, she'd chuck them. She ate half of them and then chucked them. So, I don't know. She videotaped herself going by a dumpster and throwing them out the window. I don't know. And then we end up, the last video here is Creamy Pumpkin Alfredo, Fall Recipe, and Mukbang. So, she sits down. Well, first, she makes a whole meal with this pumpkin Alfredo pasta, and she has it with some field greens. And it looked really good, actually. Then she sat down, and she told a story, a spooky story. And it wasn't bad. Now, this is the kind of Chantal video I would like. I mean, this is probably one she would like, too. It's got a creepy story, which some of her people like. The feeders will be satisfied because she's, you know, chowing down on camera, and it's real close. She even does the beauty bite, the whole thing. So they would be happy with that. There's some cooking involved. There's a little something in there for almost everybody. I watch the cooking part, and then I know creepy stories, and I've seen people eat, so I, kind of skim through the rest of it. But if knowing everything I know about Chantal, this is harder to watch, and I'm a little more critical of it because she's eating alone. I don't care if the camera's on. You're eating alone. You're using your food. You're monetizing your food again, which could be a slippery slope. In the past, it's gone from healthy mukbang to regular old mukbang. Like it's been slippery. There's just, why feed the bears? Is this really the time to do that? There's plenty of time next month to play with the channel in ways that involve food. Like, do you have to be playing with your diet right now when something serious is coming up? I mean, your channel, your life, none of my business. But out of concern, to the extent that I care about, how another person's doing, it's concerning. It's a little hard to watch. And the last thing, and this is on some petty stuff. This is very petty. While she's boiling the pasta for the creepy pasta story, she says, I don't put salt into the cooking water because I try to cut back salt when I can. Going back to the pizza fries, she said at least every minute and a half how ungodly salty the pepperoni, the cheese, and the fries were. And it didn't stop her from eating half of it. So, that about sums up Chantal as far as I can say. So where does this leave her? Where does this leave me following her? Well, Foodie Beauty is back, and I agree with her that that's probably the most recognized name that goes along with her. My bigger concern for her is the condition she's going to be in when she's going for major surgery, or that she cancels the surgery for some reason she'll give some serious reason, and it'll be for some petty one. I kind of think she's not taking her health very seriously still. And I don't know. I'll use the word concerned. I'm going to try to... Concerned is a very generous way to put it, I know. Reckless, irresponsible, lack discipline, stupid. There's a lot of ways it could be framed. But I'll just leave it at saying I'm concerned for the choices that she's making. And I would hope for her going forward that she would listen to the professionals that are advising her, not put her own twist on things, and not be surprised if she doesn't get the best possible outcome in her given situations with her health concerns because she's not doing what's recommended to take care of herself. So let's not act surprised if things don't go quite as good as we hope they do. But, as I've said before, I've seen sicker people than Chantal mentally and physically get better. I've seen bigger people lose weight in real life, not just from Dr. Now Zarden. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the like button. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email and contact information is listed below for any correspondence. Thank you all for watching. Happy Saturday, and we'll catch up with y'all soon. Bye.